Hi there. Today I'm going to tie a small baitfish. This is going to be a flatwing baitfish. This can easily be a small sand eel or a small sardina or something like that. A very nice pattern, I imagine, for any saltwater species out there feeding on small fish, bonefish, yeah, stripers, anything like that. So as you can see, I've cheated a bit and just added some tying thread here to make a base for the rest of the fly. Today I'm going to tie on one of these sinuous articulated shanks from Flyman. It's a very nice way to do this, because this way you avoid all the materials will tangle with the hook and stuff like that. Instead of having a hook there, we're gonna have what I've done is I've taken a strand of a small piece of not too kinky and added a partridge salmon intruder hook in size 6, as you can see here, and then I'm just gonna pull this wire here so that my so this will come up to the end of the hook here, and make sure it stays in place like this. As you can see, there's a wire here is very stiff, which ensures that the hook stays exactly where I want it to be. So what we have to do now is only to secure this wire here, and we're gonna do that by tying it down and then turn it around and tie it once more. So basically what I do is I tie this, and then I make sure my hook is turning the way I want it to be and is hanging where I want it to be, which is about there, about 5 centimeters behind. And then I'm tying all this down here, applying some thread, and to make sure that this stays in place, I'm going to turn these wires ends around and tie them down once more. This makes 100% certain that this wire is never going anywhere. Doing exactly the same with the other part here, like this, like so, making sure everything is nice and securely fastened, like that. Then I'm gonna cut off the ends of the wire here. I'm gonna use one of my old dull scissors for this. This is not a job to cut this titanium wire. It's not a job for your regular fly tying scissor. Those will pretty quickly die if you start messing around with something like that. For those, like that. As you can see, my hook is hanging, pointing upwards exactly where I want it to be. It's going to be upwards in the wing, and as I said, this is going to make the fly fish a lot better, and you will never have the problem with all the stuff entangled like you normally have with the larger winged baitfish flies. So what we're going to use then is we're going to use a small bundle of bucktail. Probably the coolest stuff ever, not made, but ever used in saltwater patterns. Bucktail is a bit stiff and works very nice in saltwater patterns, like this. I'm gonna take some of the shortest ones away. Gonna make sure this is about the right length, which I want. See, something like that. It should be a bit longer, like this, so it will meet up with the point of the tip of the hook. Just gonna tie this down here all the way up to the end of here to make a nice uniform body for the rest of the fly. Cutting stuff clean here. That looks exactly how I want it to look. Going back here. And then I'm taking a small amount of Flashaboo dubbing in pearl. Nice dubbing, nice flesh dubbing, to create kind of like a small body here. Something that is going to be a bit more dense, not as translucent as the rest of the fiber, the rest of the fly. So this is going to be the body of the fly. Not a lot of dubbing, as you can see, just a small amount to cover your thread and to give it a bit of shine. I really like these flatwing flies. They are in what I would consider to be the absolutely best way of making small baitfish patterns. They look truly amazing in the water, and you can add an additional life if you add a small cone or a small disc to these patterns out in the front, which will make them look even more crazy in the water, more erratic. But they move fairly well on their own, without too much bling. Okay, that being done and said, we're gonna take a small, once more, take a small bundle of bucktail. Not a very big bundle. What you want here is you want to be careful not to make this fly too dense, too thick. It's that way it will lose its authenticity, and it will not look as much like a small fleeing baitfish if it's, well, just one big bundle of material. So be sure that when you apply materials, you do not apply too much. Small baitfish, especially small sand eels, are not that big. So make sure you do not apply too much material to make this, because sand eels do not want to be caught. So sand eels are translucent, and so are any other small baitfish. So what you want to do is you want to create that exactly same effect in the most of this fly. But they do have intestines and stuff like that. That is why this it works very well to have this part of the fly that is actually where you had all your tying threads and stuff like that. But that really works well, because that imitates the abdomen. Stuff like that. I'm just gonna see how it looks on your side. It looks nice as well. Like that. And then I'm gonna take some of these saddles here. These saddles are a bit hard to come by, unfortunately, but if you can get some from Kiok or Whiting, you should, because they are truly wonderful for flies like this. I'm gonna take a few gray here as the underlaying hackles. I'm gonna tie these down with the blank side pointing downwards, because then these will move better in the water. Like that. I'm gonna take another one here. Like that. Get one more turn with the thread, and then I'm gonna cut these off. And as you can see, these feathers are actually, on this is a Kiok saddle, these feathers are actually so long that I can easily use this for one, maybe even for two, maybe even 3 wings. As you can see, I'm gonna apply this, say around there. This is starting to come into shape very nicely. I'm gonna take one more gray, and then I'm gonna add some blue ones. I want this to be around there. Like so. Cut off. And then I'm gonna take some of these nice blue ones here. Not many, but just a few to add some contrast. I would say 7 or 6, 7 or 8 of these hackles, depending on the size of the fly, will do the trick. Do not overdo it. Do not use too many. First of all, they're expensive as hell, but that's not the most important. The most important thing is that you do not overdo this by adding too much hackles, because the fly will simply not look realistic. Will simply not look like a small baitfish if you do that. And well, basically we're almost done now. Just gonna cut off this stuff here. Gonna create a small head, do a whip finish, and then what we need to do is we need to finish off this head with some UV curing glue. I'm gonna use the Buck Bond UV curing glue for this one. Buck Bond is it's a very nice glue. So just need to just gonna take a small amount of Buck Bond here. First of all, I'm gonna use a very small amount just to make sure that my eye stays where I place it. The trick to make beautiful heads for saltwater flies with UV curing glue is to apply small amounts. Take small steps, because when you take small steps, you ensure that the finishing product will be the best result you can get. And because you can decide when this glue shall harden, because of it only hardens when you shine the light on it. It's very easy for you to distribute and to ensure you have the eyes in the right location, and you have everything in place before you actually make this makes this glue hard. So I'm gonna create the top part of the head now. Just adding a small bundle here. We don't want a big head. We just want a nice small head for this fly. And as you can see, I'm using multiple layers and multiple dosages to ensure that I get exactly the effect that I want. Get exactly the head shape and head size that I want. Nothing less of perfection. Well, as perfect as I can do it, at least. I don't mean to say that I'm perfect, because I'm really not. There's thousands of fly tyers out there who outshines me. I just like to tie and like to fish. Shine the light. And there you have it. A small, very efficient, very well fishing baitfish pattern.